Greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and we've had some questions about the expansion with the Big Daddy arch wire, but I want to clear this up. You really, if you do very much expansion with this Big Daddy wire, you need to put a rectangular arch in really before you start doing much expansion. And I'll try to explain this. It's hard to just say it, so I'm going to have to do some drawing here, and I hope you'll understand. Now, whenever you expand a tooth, or like if you stick something up in the roof of the mouth, and they have names for them, where you're pushing against the teeth with a bar, anything like that, and you're pushing it with the bar, the tooth rotates somewhere between where the root is in the bone, and you push it out here, the tip of the tooth goes in like that. There's no way you can keep from doing it. Now, if you get somebody that the roots are both of the teeth are tilted in, let me get two pins up here. Like if the teeth were in this way, this is the tongue side, you could push them over to here, it'd be all right. But then when you start coming out here, you watch the roots are going to go in as well as the crown's going out. So what we want is to bring, when we do expansion and really want to open the airway, we need to move them apart like this. Now you can take a palatal separator and cement bicuspids and molars, and then you solder onto them, and as you widen the palatal separator, in other words, it is like this, and now we widen it and it goes like this. Now, you take this little arch wire that you put across, let me get this thing down to just a picture, and let me get this open. Like if you expand with a palette, and you've got a band over here and a band over here, and you just go into the arch up here, and you expand this thing. As that goes out, it does this. In other words, it does like that. And as it does, the roots of the teeth go this way. Now, if you put a palatal separator in here and you expand it, it goes this way. Now, if you have the bands on the bicuspids and the molars are cemented solidly, as it goes out this direction like this, they will tilt a little bit, and that makes them chew on the lingual cusp some more. You can't get them to go straight, but as they chew on it and you leave the palatal separator in for several months, then it will bring the teeth out, the roots with the crowns. And that's where you get the airway, is up here at the top of the roots and everything. You want, that's where you want your expansion. So when you put a palatal separator in, if you put the palatal separator, you've got a box like this, and you go out and your teeth are over in this area, and you go out with it, and if you look at it up like this, and this separator's in this portion, let me get this thing where it'll stay still, and we spread this out, this will just separate right in here, and this will move out, and this will move out, and the teeth will be straight. So the palatal separator is far better than trying to do it with a bar. And if you put a gadget in where you move down here and you come up in this part and over here, the same thing is true. If you go apart with the thing, the let me get it back here where it's a little more stable. Then this thing will, the tooth, when you push on a tooth, if you just push it with a bar, the tooth's going to go out here. The crown will go out and the lingual cusp will come in contact, and if you don't have to have much expansion, you can do a little of that, and then gradually the chewing will pull the tooth up parallel. But when you go apart, you have a tooth that's set like this, and the roots are coming up this way. The lingual cusp will be hitting like that. Now this has some effect on bringing the roots in, but not much. Now let me get into doing the Big Daddy expansion. I'm going to change this again and go back. Like if we're going to do a Big Daddy expansion, the large arch wires that we make these out of, I mean, you use a 040 or a 036, or you can use an 030, which is the kind of the puny cut, but you can expand like you make them to fit the arch, like where you want it, and then you take it out, and you can expand this one way on out here, and I bring this one way out too. This thing just draws where you bring it out like that. Maybe you've got a 1/2 inch on each side. You can put any amount of force you want to over there, and you can expand anybody's mouth that's living with it. And if you have all the teeth lined up in here, and you're expanding all of them, the bone goes with the teeth. So you can expand somebody that's 60, 70, 80 years old. I haven't done a 90-year-old yet, but it will expand. And the teeth will stay, and the alveolar bone will go with the teeth, like that. Now, to do this, we have to have a lot of force going out. Now let me try to explain this coming back. Let me go back again. Now, if I take a tooth, let's see, like that, and then we're going to have another one over here that's very similar, and we are going to expand it, but the arch wire is what you get your torque out of. And so we've got a bracket on this tooth. It's something like, well, it'd be sticking out straight like this. And it's sticking over here on this side. Now you take an arch wire that's made to go in there, and you bend the end up right here, and you reach right behind the cuspid with a plier and hold it tight there, and you come and you twist that one. You got to go around. You want this to stay outside, so this is coming up here, so we go twist this wire until it's way around. And now we can turn that wire loose, and it will be sticking out like this, back here at the back. And it has a progressive torque in it. In other words, it's going to be coming out of the cuspid, and then it'll go like this. And excuse me, you've got to twist it real far like this. It's got to turn like this, and then you turn it loose and it goes over this way. Now, it's over like that. I take this wire and flatten it out right here and stick it into this slot. It's going to make that tooth if you just say the tooth's going up here, it'll tend to make it go in this direction. Now, you just think that out. You bend it down, and you come back up, and it's pushing that tooth in that direction. So this would be what we call buccal root torque. We want the roots to go this way. Well, the roots, we do this instead of getting buccal root torque. These roots are up here in the bone structure, and there's a point of rotation somewhere up in the bone around like that. And if we put that kind of torque in here, and it tends to move the roots lingual, the crown will go buccal. In other words, this looks like you twist it and put it in there, the crown would go inside here, but it doesn't. The roots control it here. So the crown would go, it will just go in, and the roots would tend to go out, and it will get some buccal root torque, but your crown will go in this, inside. Now you come in here and you put a big arch wire in here that you've expanded. You made it fit before you bend it out. Now you bend it in and put it in here. You can put any amount of force you want to. Buccal root force. Now, buccal force, it doesn't have roots. It's just going to carry everything out there. And if it doesn't work, it's not the wire that didn't work. You just don't get it on there right. There's a guy who wrote a real good article, and he's a smart guy. And he was trying to torque it with the Big Daddy wire. That's not what you torque with. You torque with a rectangular wire, and the Big Daddy does not let the crown go this way. It carries it out. It doesn't matter how much force you put on it. And the force you've got in here on the roots, you go out, and so this tooth comes out like this. The root will be somewhere out in this. So you're going to get crown, buccal crown movement and root movement, and this movement up here is going to be the airway. That's what helps the airway. Now, I don't mean to run down things that people have. You know, when you put this deal in here and you band one root, and if you put one with a bar on there, and if you take your bicuspids, I can't already draw on this thing. You take your bicuspids in here, and you just have a bar going in on them. And when you push this crown out, this root will go inside right there. And that's not what you want. You want to enlarge the airway. So you've got to have it rigid. You can do it with a palatal separator if you band all the teeth. But if you put a bar in here, it doesn't work. It doesn't expand the bicuspids. It'll take the roots of the molar that you've got it on, and it'll carry them out, but the bicuspids won't go with them. They'll go. And so you need to take all the teeth out to get the alveolar bone that's around the teeth to go with them. And the rectangular wire coming all the way around like that's got this torque in it, so it torques everything in the arch around, even the second molar. It'll torque it. Now you don't want much in the cuspid, and you don't have to torque these out. It's going to go, so we go distant to the cuspid and put this progressive torque in there. And you come off of it from the cuspid going back, bring it like that. Then this thing is sticking up at its back, and you bend it down and stick it in there, and it will tend to give buccal root torque. If you didn't put anything out here, I mean, it wouldn't be buccal root torque, it'd be lingual root torque. It's what you're going to get. It's what you think you're getting here, but you don't get it because the roots control this. And so you put pressure on it here. The roots don't move in the bone good, so this goes in, and the roots go out a little bit. Now we put a heavy wire out here that won't let the crown go, and it carries the roots too. And you can look at the occlusal surface of the tooth and tell how much pressure you put on this Big Daddy arch wire here, and it keeps this thing expanding with the teeth going out parallel, not bringing the crown out and bringing the root back in. I hope this helps you understand about this. This is something that's confusing, and so you have to have progressive torque in here because you don't need as much force at the bicuspid as you do at the molars. So we go behind the cuspid, grab it with the plier, and you twist that wire so that it is back at the molar. It's sticking up like this, and you pull it down, put it in here, and it tends to do that. But instead of doing that, the roots aren't going to just jump over there. They stay there, and then you put that force on there, and the roots will try to go there, but they'll bring the crown in, and you'll get lingual crown torque if you don't put the large wire that won't let the crown go. So I hope that and I don't get you totally confused on this, and I don't know that I'm not confused myself sometimes. But thank you for watching, and I'm going to sign out, and I hope this will answer the guys' questions on those different appliances that they use. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join our group.